Alright, well now that I got this 2014 all turned up, we gotta do a little bit to the transmission so it like doesn't blow up on us. So I'm gonna pull the valve body out of that today and do a couple mods. Normally these trucks, like, if you put them in reverse, they'll command 250 psi line pressure, and it'll actually do 250 psi line pressure too on a completely stock valve body. But in the forward gears, you're limited to 160. There's just a pressure regulator in there. It doesn't let you go over that. So even if you command 170, it won't go over 160. So you can get this kit here. It's very affordable. It's called the BD Protect Plate kit. You see here, and they give you a steel and some gaskets to put between the plates and the valve body, and they show you where to drill the holes, so then it allows full reverse line pressure in the forward gears, which is 250 psi. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to put that in the 2014 truck, and we'll put a Mag High-Tech pan on there too. Alright, got the 14 inside, just about to pull the bolts off the pan, and we're going to reuse the fluid because it's only got like, I think 1,000 kilometers on it. Well, no, I've been driving this thing a lot. It's probably got like 2,000 kilometers on it now. So yeah, we're going to do that. Drain the fluid and get that valve body ripped out of there. Alright, got it off this time without making too much of a mess. It's pretty nice. And the fluid's looking super, super clean. Brand new. Except for, there's a little bit on the magnet, but that's just normal wear. So yeah, this thing's looking awesome. So I'm gonna get that valve body unplugged and take out the 6 bolts. And I'll just drop right out of there. Okay, just took out these 6 bolts here. The valve body falls right out, super easy. And then now we need to get access to this plate here so we can drill a port through it. So basically we just got to take out every single one of these screws, and then you can take it off and just make sure you don't tip it upside down, this lower piece, because there's a bunch of check balls in there. You just got to take out all these bolts and then you can lift it off. So you can see here, I just take out these bolts in the corner, and then the solenoid pack just comes right off. It's looking nice and clean in there too, so we definitely won't have to replace that. Now you just basically come take all the rest of the bolts out now, and you don't really got to worry about keeping them in order too, because they're all the same size. Okay, you see I got all those bolts out, and you can basically just lift this plate straight off. Just lift it straight off, flip it over. And then here's that steel that we're replacing. And you can see here, this one has 5 check balls, and there's no check ball in these 2 holes. I'm pretty sure it's the trucks with gray connectors are like that. And if it has a white connector, it has the check balls in these holes as well. Not 100% sure. Pretty sure though. But yeah, you really don't have to go any further than this, because now there's nothing else in this piece, it's just a piece of metal. So we need to drill a hole somewhere around here somewhere, and just clean it up, and then we can put it all back together. You don't really need to worry about taking out any of this stuff. I mean, it's a good thing to do if your valve body's or your fluid's a bit dirty. It's definitely a good idea to take it all apart and clean it out, but for this truck it doesn't have very many kilometers and the fluid's brand new, so all I'm doing is making the modifications, slapping it back together, and getting it in there. Okay, I'm just checking out these instructions here. It wants me to drill a hole right there, which is right there. So I just center punched it, and now I'm going to use this 1/8 drill bit. Slam that through there, and that's pretty much it. We're pretty much done at that point. We just got to put it back together. And we just got to put it back together using this replacement steel. And they also give you gaskets for on top and underneath the steel. So like, even if this valve body half here is like a little warped, or if there's some low points or something like that, it's still going to seal up a lot better than it would from factory. So I'm going to be interested to see how much pressure we actually can push it to, because my truck there with that billet valve body, it hits 250 no problem at all. But the pump's the limiting factor now. It won't go over 250 because of the regulator in the pump. So I'm going to be interested to see how much we can get out of this BD kit, if it'll go right to 250 or if it's going to leak around some places, but I don't know, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Okay, I just drilled this out, and then it just occurred to me, isn't this that Isn't this the exact same spot that my valve body had that hole drilled? I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to check my video, but I think that was the same hole, so I must use the same ideas here. I'm not sure. I'll have to go check my other video again. Yeah, that's definitely the same hole. Interesting. Okay, I don't remember what I said before, but I tell you here how many check balls it's supposed to have. It says 7 for the white connectors and 5 for the gray connectors, but in this kit we're going to add an extra one to here. You can see here, this one has a gray connector and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 check balls. We need to add one here. That's pretty much all we gotta do. Just put a check ball in there and then just put all new steel and gaskets back on, bolt it all together, and we're pretty much done. Pretty straightforward job. I'd definitely recommend doing this if you got a 68 RFE, because it's a pretty big considerable upgrade when you can run 250 pounds of pressure on the clutches instead of just 160. I mean, it doesn't work without tuning, obviously. This is just the hard part that supports the ability to be able to tune to make it do that. Okay, I couldn't help myself. I wanted to kind of reverse engineer how these BD plates work and how they do this here. So I have the BD plate on top of the stock plate here. You can see the only difference is it needs a hole drilled here, a hole drilled here, and this needs to be opened up a little more. So drill a couple holes here, here, and here, and that'd be fine. That would totally work. But then if you flip it over here, let me have a look. I line it up again. You can see here they've plugged a port. You see, this is the stock plate, and then the one underneath is the BD plate. So here they've plugged a port off completely, which you can't do that yourself on the metal here. But I followed the tracks here, and it's exactly where we just drilled this hole here. That's where they plugged it right there, and there's nothing else here. So you could fill this here with JB Weld, and then that one would be good to go. So the next one here I saw is here. There's a hole here that's been plugged, but I was looking at everything here, and this track that comes through here goes through that hole in the valve body plate and the steel there, but there's nothing else after that. So you could probably plug this here, this corner, just fill it up with a bunch of JB Weld in there, because the supply comes from over here, but there's nothing over here, but the plate plugs it here. So you could probably plug it here and you'd get around that. And same with this one here. I don't remember here. I was looking at it. I thought I figured it out. Oh yeah. See, there's nothing in here. It's just a hole that goes straight out. So this is obviously creating the leak. So you could just fill this one completely with JB Weld too. And other than that, I can't see anything else in there that's different. So I should be able to modify this plate and put some JB Weld in this plate and add a check ball from one of the hundreds that I have laying around here from 47s. Add a check ball, drill that hole, and I should be able to make any stock valve body make the full reverse line pressure in forward gears without buying a kit. I should be able to just put some JB Weld in here, drill some holes. Should be good to go. So I'm going to try that definitely, because I have a spare valve body now because I put that billet valve body in my truck. So I have a stock valve body that's just hanging out in storage. So I'm definitely going to take that thing apart and see if I can't modify it myself. Alright, you can see I got the gasket on the bottom and then the metal plate and the gasket on the top. It's a pretty good idea really, because normally it's just metal on metal sandwiching it together. So if there's any warpage at all, or there's low points or anything like that, if you turn up the pressure, it's going to start leaking really bad into other ports. So if you're trying to like apply fourth gear and it's leaking through these ports, maybe it'll also be applying like another clutch that's not supposed to be applied in fourth gear, and it's just going to prematurely wear everything out. So if you turn up all the pressure and your valve body is just leaking anyways, it's probably going to be worse than not turning it up at all. So yeah, just something else to consider. Alright, everything's back together. It's all bolted in, torqued down, filters on. Just gotta put the pan on now. New gasket too. Man, these pans are worth it just for the for the drain plug alone, man, it's pretty nice. Okay, well the pen's in there now. Didn't really fit at first. You can see there's these lines here. I couldn't get the pen on at first, but I was just able to just grab them, kind of bend them out of the way a little bit, and got it on there. So yeah, no big deal. Just figured I'd make a note because it definitely didn't fit before, but no problem just to grab these and bend them a little bit. Alright, I got this thing all put back together and it's all topped up with fluid and ready to go. Just about to take it for a test run, but my new project just showed up. Check this out, 5th gen Cummins. It's only got 10,000 kilometers on it too. It's pretty much brand new. And I got it for a couple weeks here now just to figure out how to get all that garbage off it. I haven't really done too much research. Well, I haven't done any research into these things yet because I wasn't really expecting to get one so soon, but the opportunity came up and now it's here, so check it out, man. I thought the 2013s had big enough screens. Damn. So yeah, this thing's pretty sick. Can't wait to start playing with this. So yeah, I'm just gonna go take this other truck here for a quick little test run, make sure the valve body's all working as it should, which I'm pretty confident it will be. And then yeah, I'm gonna start playing with this thing. I had a quick little look over it, and the emission system they're using under hood and under the truck, it all looks pretty similar to the older trucks, but it does have a different ECM. So I'll close that in a minute here. So yeah, it's probably gonna take a bit of figuring to get this thing going. But yeah, that's what I'm working on here next. Get one of these 5th ends figured out. Alright, so far this thing's feeling pretty good. Haven't noticed any issues. It might actually be shifting a little better, actually. It's hard to know yet. I'm gonna drive it for a while here and get a good feel for it, make sure there's no issues. And then I'm gonna go back to the shop and flash a new tune in that actually ups the pressures so we can take advantage of this. Okay, I definitely feel like this thing's shifting better here. I'm only on the Eco tune, but I'll just give it a little bit of gas. Yeah, I mean, here, let me close that window. I mean, it didn't shift bad before, it was fine, but it definitely feels a little more crisp now. I'm really liking it, so I'm gonna go back to the shop and flash another tune into it just to turn up the pressure a little bit so we can actually take advantage of this whole thing here. And yeah, we'll go test it out from there. I might need to do 1 or 2 tries there, because sometimes if you turn up the pressure too much in the low end, it just kind of shifts a little too firm, and it kind of makes you feel like you're smashing your head off the steering wheel every time it shifts. So I'm gonna go back, put some more pressure in, and yeah, we'll take it for another test run and go from there. Alright, well, I flashed in the pretty much exact same pressure settings as my 2012 is running right now, so it's turned up to 250 psi on the top end, but the low end's still pretty nice. It's definitely pretty smooth. Here, maybe we'll do a pull here. Yeah, this thing feels great now. Alright, well, I've been driving around this thing for a while. As you can see, it's dark out now. And yeah, no problems at all. Fluid level's looking perfect. Drives great. And I got it running at 250 psi right now. Seems to be doing it no problem so far. And it feels really good at full fuel when you're shifting there. And the low end, I got the pressures turned up a little more from stock. Not too much though, because I didn't want it to be too uncomfortable to drive, but it's definitely much better than stock. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't got anything left, so I'm pretty much gonna get right on to starting on that 2019 now. Wish me the best of luck on that thing, because it's probably gonna be ridiculous, but yeah, that's it for this one. So hit that like button and subscribe too.